Hi, let's just chat about all of my Ace Beauty palettes and get rid of some. I think I have 14 of them, and I love this brand. I have been like over the moon with them, but I'm ready to not collect just to collect and say goodbye to some of them that I have. So if you want to see me go through my Ace Beauty palettes and talk about them, compare them, and get rid of them, some of them, then just keep watching. So I have them stacked in front of me. I am not going to go over them in any particular order. I just grabbed them. So the first one is the Ace Beauty Falling For You palette. I really like this one. Some of the colors look the same on my eye though, unfortunately. I am blinding you. But I love the shimmers in this palette and I do really like it, so I'm going to keep it. I have the Scarlet Dusk. This one's a hard one for me, but not hard. So it looks like this. I thought it was the Vintage Dawn. That one's the hard one for me. Here is the Scarlet Dusk, and honestly, as much as I love it, I don't want to keep this. I also have the Ace Beauty Blossom, and they are similar. I know that they are different. This one is brighter, this one's more dark, but they're both pink, reddy, heavy palettes. This one has a few more like darker mauvey, bready tones, but I think that they are similar and I don't want to keep this one. So I am going to say goodbye to it. I have the Vintage Dawn palette. This one is a hard one. I do like this color story. It's beautiful. I love this sun shimmer in here. It is just, it's so pretty. I don't know, my lights might be too bright. I don't know if you can see that, but it is really, really pretty. I enjoy that, but I feel like, I know that they're different, okay, but hear me out. I feel like I can get similar looks using this one. The blue in here is different, clearly, but I can pull a different blue. I'm sorry, I feel like I can get similar looks with the Flare palette, which I like a lot more. What do you think? Do you think I'm tripping? I don't know. This has like, okay, so Gleam and Golden Hour out of the Vintage Dawn. And then I'm gonna go into Firefly and Mirage out of the Flare. Can you tell the difference? This Firefly is more orangey and less bronzy. Yeah, the orange is, this one's more orangey than the bronzy color, but they are so similar. So similar. And then there's Daybreak out of the Vintage Dawn and Cider from the Flare. Those are very similar. The Dew from the Vintage Dawn, which is really pretty. I really like that one. And the Bayberry. I mean, the Bayberry is a little bit more blue, but I feel like I can get very similar looks with this one, is what I'm saying. Like the Horizon and the Pumpkin, they're very similar. And then the oranges in this palette, these are also very similar. This just doesn't have the blue. So as much as I love this palette, you guys have just listened to my reasoning, and maybe you're not here for that. Maybe I just annoyed you. But anyways, in my mind, I don't need this. because I have those palettes and I love the flare so a lot. I'm gonna get rid of that one. Wow, look at me go. So I have, oops, I have the Quintessentials. I actually have one more Ace palette than I counted in the beginning. I forgot about it because it's smaller and I left it on my shelf. Okay, so I have the Quintessentials and I've hardly used it. It's just not my cup of tea. I love that juniper, this blue. It's beautiful. But it's just, and I like the amber and the peach. I like the reds. It's too neutral leaning for me though. And I just don't reach for it. Now, also, I have the Ace Beaute Grandiose palette, and I love this one. And this one has almost all of these colors in it. The jasmine is in it, the patchouli is in it, the clove shade that I love is in it, this rose shade that I love is in it, the poppy, which I love the most, is not in this one, and the primrose is also not in it, this one, but it looks very similar to some of their other, you know, brownie shades. Myrtle is not in it, but again, it's another shimmer that's very similar. Anyways, this Grandiose palette has overlapping shades from this one, and I like the Grandiose far more, and that blue shade is not enough for me to keep it. And I like, there's that part of me that's like, no, I should, especially since this one is newer than this one, and you know, but by quite a bit. I don't want this palette anymore, and it's probably my least favorite Ace Beaute palette, to be honest. So I will be keeping this one though, because this just reminds me of cinnamon and spices and holiday and gingerbread, and I don't know why, but that's what it reminds me of, and I love this palette. So this one is a tricky one because I have the whole Paradise collection. This is the Blossom Passion, but I don't reach for this. It's very monochromatic in my opinion. It does go deep, which is nice, and it is really pretty, and it does have more like some reddy tones and more pinky tones, but overall I feel like it's very monochromatic and I don't reach for it. Even though I want to keep it, I don't reach for it. And I have the Beauty Bay Berries palette that is very monochromatic, and I have, you know, that one doesn't have like this red in it, which I do really like this red, but I have other red shades, and when I think of a red palette or wanting a red, I don't reach for this one. So as much as it kind of pains me, I'm gonna get rid of it. Like, holy moly, that is 4 Ace palettes that I'm not gonna be keeping. Like, wow. So I have the Nostalgia, and this is a hands down keeper. This one is brand new because my other one had what I think was mold in it, and I love this palette. It is a very beautiful summer dream palette, and I love it. And you guys, that red shade that I like might be similar to this one, the Camping shade. So again, there's these like pinky tones in it and reddy tones, and this is the one that I would reach for, hands down. Thank you, Andy, for sending that to me. I have the Ace Oceanic palette. This is a keep, hands down, probably one of my most used. There's one that's used more than this, but I love this, and I love the greens and blues, even though I feel like there's overlaps maybe with some of the greens in this one. Just a little, just a couple. It's not enough for me. Like, this color story is everything. So I'm definitely keeping that. Same with this one. This color story is everything. This is the Tropical Vibes. I love this. It's monochromatic, but the tones of green in this are just so unique and amazing, and I love it. Andy Does Stuff sent this to me, and that will never go anywhere, ever. So I have the Classical Paradise that Andy also sent me. It's my Apples palette, and it is probably my most used, and I love it. I adore it. It is everything. And going back to that, you know, Vintage Dawn palette, that sunshade that I really like, there's a sunflower yellow in this, and these have similar vibes in my opinion. But there's a sunflower and a sunshade, both shimmers, and they are pretty similar. Hold on, my battery's about to die. Hopefully you're finding this interesting and not annoying, because my swatches are bad and I like keep going back and forth. I don't know, maybe you find this annoying. Let me know. If you find it annoying, then you shouldn't be watching it, I guess. Because this is kind of for me. And I took you along for the journey. So I have a slice of paradise. I don't know what to do with this one. It's a rainbow palette, and I don't reach for it very much, but I really do like the bright yellow and this daffodil shadow. It's a really pretty palette, but I don't reach for it. And as much as I want to say, like, I love that blue ball shade too. As much as I want to keep it, I also don't want to keep it. And I'm gonna keep it. Because, hear me out, I want to use it. I want to use it and then potentially declutter it. This is one that I want to use a few times and really figure out my full thoughts on it, because I haven't used it in a long time and I feel like I need to use it. So I have this one, the Paradise Fallen, and never in a million years, never. I love this. I think it is so unique. I love all of the gray purples, and it's monochromatic, yes, but I think that the tones in this palette are very unique, and I love it, and it will never go anywhere. So here's the Ace Beaute Floral Vintage. I've used it. I like some of the shadows in here. Like, of course, I love the button bush, because it's like this beautiful red, stunning. I did like this cherry blossom. Oh, it's such a stunning shimmer. And this milk rose shimmer is really stunning too. I like the greens and I like the oranges and yellows. It's murky. I like it, but I don't love it. And I have other greens from them that I like. And I have other oranges from them that I like. This shimmer is really gorgeous too. The shimmers in here are really stand out, except then they have like this marigold, which is like this, it's pretty, but it's a different formula shimmer for them. It's very more shiny versus glittery, and it's not my favorite. And my neighbor's dogs are assholes, I'm sorry. It's got a lot of browns in the palette, and I'm gonna get rid of it. Can you believe that? I mean, I would depot a couple of the shimmers if I was to keep it, and maybe that like button bush and aster shade, but honestly, like, I don't need this palette. I'm not going to reach for it. It's very neutral leaning, and even though it's those greens and reds that I really like, it's too neutral for me and rather large. And I do like large palettes. I love large palettes, but it's not large in a way that I want to use it large. It's large as in half of it I don't like. So I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it, but I am gonna say goodbye to that. And then what's on my eyes today is this Violet Sage palette, and I'm keeping it. This came from Andy Does Stuff, and it is a very unique palette. The color story is unique. I do have a video of me doing this look and talking about it because I've only used this palette once. It's rather new to me and my thoughts on it, so I'm not going to go too far into that, but I like it. It's unique, and it makes my mind think, and I'm keeping it. So if you've been here, you know how much I love Ace Beaute. They're like, I love them. I don't know what it is, but I love their quality. I love the pigmentation. I love the brand. I generally love their color stories. I just really like Ace Beaute. And so getting rid of these palettes is like a big deal for me, and should be, and probably is a shocker to you. I know I didn't get rid of a lot, but I got rid of 5 and I kept 10. And I'm happy with the ones that I'm getting rid of. It's not gonna hurt me. I will set them aside and let things settle and my feelings settle, but I'm fairly certain that I'm not going to change my mind. And yeah, I'm excited about that, and I think I did really good, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of like scattered. I should have done like an overboard, but I just didn't have a whole lot of time for that, and I wanted to cycle through the ones that I didn't want sooner than waiting until I had a time to overlay and do better. So I'm sorry if you found this video annoying or not very insightful, but maybe it was insightful, and maybe you have a huge Ace collection like I do, and it helped you decide which ones you wanted to keep and which ones you didn't, or helped you decide which ones you wanted to buy and not buy. I don't know. If you made it to the end, give me a heart emoji. I'm just gonna go now. Bye.